1.5.
Yep.
I think you got to go with the Saints.
Well, I would say go with the Saints on both the money line and the points.
Yeah.
All right, can I make a case?
Go,
I want to make a case.
thing
If you
I
could
was
please
gonna
help
say,
me out
so
with
go
this.
ahead.
All right, so remember back, I guess it was week 9 or 10 or something like that. Seattle visited New Orleans.
Yeah.
And in that game, Matt Hasselbeck threw all over the Saints.
Yeah.
But the Saints still won that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? It's hard to beat a team twice in a season.
Yeah.
Ask the Bears.
Yeah.
And the Packers. And all these other teams that play each other real tough.
It's hard to beat a good team twice.
Much less in an environment like Quest Field where I know the team is shitty. I know that the Seahawks are a bad team. But they play great at home for some reason. They have a great home record. It's a playoff.
It's the loudest stadium in the NFL.
Loudest stadium in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
you can run on the Saints. The Carolina Panthers have
I don't think Seattle can run on them.
Lynch
Also, I don't know how much
okay?
this has to do with anything, but the Saints are a dome team, and it's not Green Bay or
So,
it is
Saints
cold
are missing
there.
Pierre Thomas.
Yeah.
They
Missing
have no
Chris
running
Ivory.
backs.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I love Drew Brees. He can hit all his targets. But
Julius
when you can't
Jones,
run the
the
ball,
smoker.
When you can't run the ball, you're not going to win a football.
I will say this about that loss or that game. That was a different Saints team. Their passing game was totally out of whack. It recently, as in like 4 or 5 weeks ago, got back in. They beat Atlanta, the best
Yes,
team in the
they
NFC,
did. They
and
did.
convincingly in Atlanta. I think they go
Convincingly, I would say barely. I would say they kind of barely beat the Falcons.
I would say convincing. I think they played better than them.
They did play better than
And
them.
they took
Of course
advantage
they
of lucky breaks. And when Atlanta had a lucky break, they didn't let them take advantage
I
of it.
will say the Saints' backfield would have been awesome if it was 2006.
or if you could get a nicotine patch to Julius Jones, and maybe he stopped from smoking the parliament behind the
I'm
game.
at least taking the Seahawks on the spread on this. At the
How
very
crazy
least.
is it that
I'm
the
gonna
two
remind you
Jones
of
brothers
this.
are both in the playoffs, by the way?
I know.
You know, Thomas Jones, who everyone thought was going to be out of the league 5 years ago, is still in it, and Julius Jones somehow sneaks his way in.
All right, now on to a better game.
Now on to a better game. That night we have Indy and the Jets,
game.
and I think that which will be the best game of the weekend.
Is Indy giving 2.5?
Indy's giving 3.
Okay.
And basically,
Folk, baby.
and
Nick
basically
Folk.
for those of you that don't gamble, just so you know, if you're a home team and you're only favored by 3, that means Vegas is like basically a pick 'em. They're giving the 3 points because they're at home and they don't really know what's going to happen.
I do think that the new overtime rule could come into play.
Very much so.
I think there's a couple games that might come into play.
I think I gotta pick the Colts. I think the Jets are a bunch of posers.
What are your thoughts?
I'm taking the Colts as well. I think that Peyton at home, the playoff atmosphere, all the talk that's going on with the Jets. Look, I know the Jets can play up for games like this, and I know Rex Ryan can motivate them to play this game.
Right.
But the Jets offense, they cannot run. They haven't been able to run in the past couple weeks.
And they have to score.
They
to
fizzled
beat.
at the end of the season. They didn't finish strong. And it's all about how you finish, not how you start.
I will disagree with you a little bit on how they finished because they played the Bears and they actually played a very good game. And I think that Mark Sanchez played a great game in that game. They didn't win, but you know that was
their defense is good. I think that I'm going to take the Jets because I don't think the Colts really they're limping, and I don't think he can do it. I'm not feeling his receivers.
I'm not feeling Peyton.
No,
I think
I'm
it's
not.
Peyton, everybody.
And I don't even think it's Peyton. I think that they're on their 5th running back this season and like their 8th wide receiver.
They are.
And you can make so much magic when you're playing Jacksonville and you play Tennessee,
Houston,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you can do it against a team that plays in the NFC East and the AFC East. I just don't think you can.
The only reason why I think I'm going with the Colts, and this is it boils down to it's just my distaste for the Jets offense as a whole, is that the last game of the season they play the Bills and they make a huge deal about scoring 30 some odd points on the Bills.
Yeah.
Rex Ryan's like, it's got to see us getting back to our scoring ways.
Well,
blah, blah, blah.
they scored points against the Bears defense too, but just they gave up so many points,
Right.
and that was sort of a wild
Peyton
shootout of a
Manning
game.
scores points.
Yeah, I don't with Dominic Rhodes as
running back.
By the way, their running game is better than it has been in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Who Indy?
Indies, yeah.
It's not great though.
Heading into the playoffs.
When they had the same 2 running backs that they had in the Super Bowl in 2006. Same 2 running backs are playing in this game.
So
Didn't they have
Jets,
James
Colts,
then?
Cats.
What's your pick?
I hate this game so much because I have no faith in Mark Sanchez whatsoever.
Or Brandon Edwards?
All right,
Or
I really
Brandon
don't
Edwards.
Yet I have said all season that the Colts are really a mediocre team in wolf's clothing.
Yeah, we even thought. I mean, I was
No, they're
pumping
a
the Jaguars.
mediocre team with
Remember, I
mediocre
nailed the Jags.
clothing. I guess I'm going to take the Colts
Yeah, you
here
are.
at home.
Yep.
But it's the most uncomfortable pick you're going to see me make.
I'm
this
telling you what,
entire
Rex
time.
Ryan will toe the line this weekend.
Yes, he will.
Oh!
Or he'll be defeated. Or he'll be defeated.
I don't think he'll be defeated.
I just want to see if the Jets win, how Rex and his wife celebrate.
Yeah.
I think that'll be hot. Watch out.
I think they'll get a pedicure.
How can you allow that?
I think they get a pedicure. Yeah. By the way, isn't that the best story of last year? I wish that story would have happened at
It's
the
up
beginning
there.
of the football season as opposed to the end. Because
All I know is the
It would have been
pictures-
great to have it during Hard Knocks.
The
Yes.
pictures of them with the other guy,
the African American gentleman in the backseat of a car.
are the greatest things I've ever seen.
Well,
in my
somebody
life.
said that Rex Ryan should have admitted and come out and said, yes, that is my wife, that is me filming, because the only other alternative is much worse. Which
Yeah, that means it's somebody else.
It is his wife with some other
You
dude.
didn't really deny
Yeah.
it though.
No,
No.
he didn't.
No,
It's a personal matter.
You know what?
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of like I kind of dig the fact that they're freaky.
Yeah, I think it's kind of
Keep the spark alive.
Yeah.
You're
Who
getting
didn't
married
know
soon.
Rex Ryan was?
And by the way, it's the Jets. Like this should be a shock. They've got masseuses suing. They've got sideline reporters suing.
Yeah.
They've got dick text
They're the
messages
new
going on.
hooligans. Joe Namath all over again.
I got 4 words for you.
want to kiss
Nick, that's the greatest of all time. Nick Saban, strap on. Calling it now.
Wow.
Calling it now.
That's
Gross.
That was the word around East Lansing.
So Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning.
which should be a very interesting game. You got Baltimore and Kansas City. Who you taking?
Taking Baltimore. I love Kansas City.
Baltimore on the road.
I like KC. I know the wildcard team has not won on the road, okay?
Yeah.
I think that the Charlie Weiss mess is going to get in their heads a little bit. I know that the defense for the Ravens hasn't been playing the same that they usually do.
Right.
But that the offense is so well balanced. Ray Rice can run. And look, Matt Castle to Dwayne Bowe, I don't see that being...
And Dwayne Bowe's got a little hurt, too.
Yeah, I don't see that being... Look, they can't rekindle that fantasy magic from the middle of the season. I don't
Well, look, they've got good running games still, though.
They do.
And at
And
home,
emphatically,
the Ravens shut down
the
the run.
Ravens. The
Emphatically.
Chiefs
The Ravens
have
shut down the run.
the
Chiefs
Chiefs.
have the easiest schedule
Yes.
in the freaking world.
Yes.
In the world. And they lost to the Raiders twice.
Right.
And the Raiders are not good.
No.
Well, they're okay.
Raiders are undefeated in their division.
Yeah, but dude, Charlie Weiss is leaving.
That's got to affect him somehow. Dwayne Bowe's hurt.
Yep.
They have Jamal Charles. That's it. I think their defense is not that good. They are at
Thomas
home.
Jones.
Oh, well, in that case, they are at home, but I really don't think they're for real. I think they had a super easy schedule. I think the Ravens are going to take them apart.
Look, I know the home thing. I know Arrowhead's going to be bumping. It's the first playoff.
They haven't been in
game
the playoffs
in
for a long
years.
time, yeah.
I know that.
I
but
still
just
think the Ravens
the
are gonna
Ravens
beat
have been
them.
there. They beat the Patriots on the road last year.
Yeah, and they know how to
And
play.
they didn't just beat the Patriots.
They beat the shit
just
out of
destroyed the
and they're
Patriots.
healthy. Ray Rice has got to go in. I think the Ravens are going to take them apart.
Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that the Chiefs come out to a quick lead on here, maybe get a score, maybe
They
get
could even
give
lead
a
at
turn.
halftime for all I give a shit.
Yeah.
But I think that the longer this game goes on, Baltimore's defense takes over. Joe Flacco dinks and dunks down the field.
And Ray Rice
just
roll it up.
rolls it up and runs over them. And
Yeah.
I see them winning by over a touchdown, which for an underdog to come in and do that, I think it's pretty significant. So
And like everybody's, actually, this was on Bill Simmons' podcast the other day. Everybody forgets. Matt Castle had an emergency appendectomy
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And last week he got thrown to the ground a zillion
A couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I saw you
I
2
know.
weeks after you got an appendectomy, this was from Bill Simmons' podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, I would ask you, oh, dude, how are you feeling?
Can I get you something?
Yeah.
You need a pillow. And,
So-
and
and I
he's facing
think-
Ray Lewis and
Terrell
the
Suggs
Reyes
and Haloti Nagata.
Yeah.
All those dudes are going to torment him.
Yeah.
This is what I say. I think that it'll be a they'll weather a storm in the beginning,
Yeah.
and I think they'll overcome. Jeff, where are you going with this?
Gotta go with the Ravens. Although I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, man.
Sweep it.
I'm not nearly as comfortable about my. I think they're going to win that game, but that they look very susceptible to.
Oh, I agree. I just think the Chiefs aren't good.
Yeah,
Well,
but
and here's the other thing too. But
No.
if they win this game, if the seeds play out the way they're supposed to, but if they win this game and Indy wins, that means that they go into Foxborough the next week, which I think is an awesome
Great game.
That's a great game.
Yeah.
I go with the Ravens.
That means the Ravens will. Yeah.
But I think as NFL
last
fans and as
Yeah.
watchers of the game, we all can appreciate that the Chiefs still have a chance. We just all know that the Ravens are probably
Yeah,
better
right.
equipped to beat them.
Right.
So
So let's go into the late afternoon game on Sunday.
Best game of the weekend.
The best game of the weekend.
Rematch
a
week
rematch
one.
of week one. A rematch that Michael Vick said, if I would have
Had
played
more
the whole
time.
game, we'd have won. Well, now he gets his chance.
Maybe.
And, no, he's playing.
No, but they might knock him out.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty
that's
much.
true. That's true. But he gets his chance to start
Yeah.
against the Packers, who are playing really well as of late.
Yep.
What do you got, Maxie?
Packers.
Packers.
Got it. I think that when they're both kind of banged up, but when it comes down to it, I think that Aaron Rodgers is better than Michael Vick.
Twice on the road.
Yeah, I gotta go with Packers.
What do you think?
I'm going with the Eagles for the exact opposite reason. Look, I know the Packers defense is playing up right now, but they had to win to get in. They out-used all their juice on that Bears game.
Yeah.
They really needed that game, okay?
Yeah.
They're going into a hostile Eagles environment where Michael Vick's had plenty of time to
The Eagles are 4-4 at home.
I know they're very bad at home, but I think that the reality of
They have to
the
start
Eagles,
a Cobb for a couple of those games.
the reality of the Eagles losing 2 games to the Packers at home in one season is out of here. I don't think that happens. I think it's a barely win by a David Akers field goal. Going with the Eagles.
I think that this is our first playoff overtime rule, and I think the Eagles take it.
Both of those coaches are terrible at that.
This is why I think it's going to overtime, because I think that they'll both blow calls down the line. I think that I don't think the Packers are as good as everybody. They barely beat the Bears, and the Bears showed nothing in that game. They didn't want to leave. They wanted to play. They put all their starters in, give them credit for that, but they didn't do anything outside the normal. They didn't give anything off of the playbook because they knew they were taking the week off. And they barely got in like that. They dismantled the Giants the week before, but the Giants were on their way downhill, and they've struggled. They've been sketchy. They haven't put together. This is the thing where people taking Packers in the playoffs, you realize if the Packers get to the Super Bowl, that means that they have to have 3 games in a row where they dominate pretty much on the road. They haven't won 3 games in a row dominating all season. I don't think there's any chance.
If the Packers win, who do they play in the second round?
It depends on the other game.
Right.
It depends on because I think if Seattle wins, that they'll go play Atlanta, and the Packers win, they'll play there. But we all know that's not happening, so that means that they'll go play in Atlanta. The winner of this game basically is going to take on Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a tough game.
So we'll see. But so let's break down of the playoffs. What do you think's gonna? How do you think this is gonna pan out? Give me your 2 teams.
Super Bowl teams.
No, give me your 2 teams that play. We'll do the Super Bowl picks later, but give me your 2 teams that you think are gonna be playing in the AFC and NFC Championship game.
Well, I think the Patriots will definitely be in the AFC Championship game, and I think that it will be probably the Colts on the other end of that.
Wow.
Colts, Patriots, AFC. Let's just do AFC first.
Okay. I'm going to say, let's see, AFC Patriots versus, God, I don't know.
Boy, are we?
I don't want to forget about the Steelers.
We're sleeping on a team here.
I don't want to forget about the Steelers.
Everybody's
Look, I think a bye week is too much for them. I really do. I think
Is it possible for it to be
Patriots Steelers in the NFC Championship game?
That's my game.
Yeah, that's my pick as well.
Yeah.
I think
no one's talking about the Steelers. We really got 2, and we forget.
The problem with the Steelers is
you got a quarterback who's still got fresh legs of the year.
I just remember
the
the
Steelers
first
have the
game
same problem that the Bears have, which is a terrible offensive line.
Yeah.
But if you have a bad offensive line as you go along the season, if you learn how to scheme and learn how to work with it, then you can do things, which the Bears learned to do.
Matchups, though.
And it's matchups. And look,
but I mean, I think that it's possible that by the time the Steelers make it to the AFC Championship game, that Ben Roethlisberger will have been torn in half. I mean, he gets hurt every game.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, he's a big guy. He's been taking these hits for a long time.
I mean,
I don't think he's wearing down. I think he's fine.
I don't know. I just recall the first game of the year, the Falcons come into the Steelers' house and it was take them down in overtime.
Yeah.
They're lucky that they won that game. Okay, now that's the best of the NFC has to offer. Imagine what the AFC has in store.
Right, playing against Dennis Dixon.
Yeah. So what? Let's go the other way.
Let's go NFC. Who do you see in the championship game?
The Green Bay Packers.
Interesting.
Versus the... Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm trying to think of how the matchups are going to work. Who it's possible for them to play.
If New Orleans wins, they're going to go play in Chicago.
Right.
If the Eagles win, they're going to go...
I'm going to say Green Bay, New Orleans.
Green Bay, New Orleans?
Yeah.
That would be...
You're going with the Trent Dilfer picks, just so you know.
Am I?
Yeah. Which New Orleans has never won a playoff road game. They'd have to win two to get to that point. So
I'm calling it.
What about yourself?
Atlanta and Philly in Atlanta in an NFC Championship game.
You're home.
That actually would not happen unless Seattle won.
Wouldn't happen?
No, that would be the game before.
Unless Seattle wins?
Yeah.
Well, I think Seattle's going to win, so that works out for me.
You're insane. I'm going to go with Philly.
We know where you're going.
Philly
in
Chicago for the NFC Championship game. And I'll say this, it's one game. I don't think any of the teams that they're going to be facing could come into Chicago and beat them. I think if Bears have to go on the road to Atlanta, then it's very interesting.
I'm not saying in the NFC Championship game. I'm saying the very first game of the playoffs. I think the Bears win that easy.
I'm just sad that we have to wait a whole
another week for
I
the most
know.
entertaining NFL thing that I always look forward to every year, which is Jay Cutler throwing interceptions.
You know what?
And then making the
He'll do
Jay
that.
Cutler interception face and then berating his receivers.
He doesn't berate his receivers. He berates his linemen. He berates his coaches. He is an evil 80s